In the heart of a small, sleepy town where the trees swayed with the rhythm of the seasons, Sarah and Matthew's paths first crossed. It was a crisp autumn afternoon, the air filled with the earthy scent of fallen leaves and the distant call of birds preparing to migrate. Sarah, a quiet artist with fiery red hair, had just opened her small art gallery on Main Street. She was lost in her thoughts, gazing out of the window at the world she often painted. That's when he walked in. Matthew, a writer with a messy mop of brown hair and a half-empty gaze, was new to town, having fled the chaos of city life. Matthew wandered into the gallery with the curious eyes of a man searching for something he couldn't quite name. The moment their eyes met, a strange feeling settled between them, something neither could explain, but both could feel. They spoke for hours about everything and nothing. Sarah's passion for painting, Matthew's love for writing. They both had a deep understanding of how the world could sometimes be too loud, too fast. But here, in the stillness of the gallery, they found peace in one another's company. Days turned into weeks. Matthew returned to the gallery often, and each visit was filled with laughter and shared moments. One evening, Matthew asked Sarah to join him for dinner, something simple but sincere. At a small table in a quiet cafe, a flickering candle between them. Their fingers brushed as they reached for their drinks, and a soft, nervous smile spread across Sarah's face. After their first dinner, Sarah felt an unfamiliar unease. She was drawn to Matthew, but the thought of fully opening up terrified her. One evening, as they walked through the park, Matthew spoke of his uncertain future, of a novel he was struggling to write. "I have to go," he said, his voice soft but firm. "I don't know when I'll be back." Sarah nodded, her heart heavy. "Promise me you'll come back," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I promise," Matthew replied, squeezing her hand. But doubt crept into Sarah's heart. Could he truly keep that promise? The days stretched on, and Matthew's absence weighed heavily on Sarah. His letters were few, his promises growing more distant with each passing day. Sarah tried to paint, but her heart wasn't in it. One morning, she received the news. Matthew had gone to the city for good, leaving without a word of when or if he would return. Grief settled over Sarah like a heavy blanket. She painted, but it was no longer the vibrant art that had once filled her gallery. It was jagged, dark, full of empty spaces. It was on a rainy afternoon that Sarah received the final news. Matthew had passed away in a car accident, the message from his family delivering the crushing blow. The weight of it all was too much. Sarah, holding on to the promise that never came true, felt the walls of her world crumble. Sarah never truly stopped waiting for him. She continued to paint, each canvas a tribute to the love she had lost. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't shake the feeling of Matthew's absence. In the end, her art became a silent memorial, a reflection of the love that had once burned so brightly, only to fade into the shadows. She kept the promise he'd made, knowing he would never return. Sometimes, love is a promise that cannot be kept, and sometimes the heart holds on to what it cannot have, even as the world around it fades away.